There we go. So this is what I used from the tutorial from this fabulous, this guy, Tasty Toots, or Tasty Tuts, not sure. You can download these tutorials. I also have them in our folder on Google Drive, and I thought it was a pretty smart idea. And let me download this. And what I really liked about it was the way it was organized. It's organized, each type group has, what, 20, 25 type layers in it, and it allows you to go through and individually change each of those layers. It's a little tedious, it takes a little bit of time, but if you take the time beforehand to pick the 15 to 20 fonts that you have, just write the names down, then you can go through and make sure that each of these words are one of those 20 fonts. I would suggest the following. The one of Tom York that we really liked, if we go here to, let's see, not sure where Tom York was, but I think he's, there it is. So for the ones of Tom York, these words are bold. They are serif. Sorry, sans serif. They are just, there's no floof about them, very bold, and they're song lyrics. So this might be all the same font, or maybe several fonts that are very similar looking. I think that this is a great idea, because even if you didn't know what these words meant, you would be able to look at this and get a feeling about the personality of the subject. Again, that's back to how you go about the storytelling way, okay? So even the parts of his ears and his nose and his lips, it's defining the figure. You can't maybe read those words yet, but the typeface is telling the story for you. First thing you want to do is select 15 to 20 fonts this weekend. Bring those in with you, right? I would also set up something like this and start collecting the words. If you bring this in, you will have a massive amount of work done. Then I simply grabbed the type group and drug it over to my master file. And they were all in a row. I was able to then open up the group and using, and this is the key, auto select layer. I was able to select a layer and then move it around so that I didn't have to stop and grab and find each layer. I could auto select layer. What this also will allow me to do is to double click on the layer. So in this case, dogs, right? Let's move dogs up here. I could double click and say the spot I need to fill needs to, let's get the character palette. Character palette, there we go. Say this needs a little bit more tracking or space between letters. Say it needs to be a little bit bigger. You can also put that in there. You can also change the font. Say you're like, well, I really like that it's Georgia, but maybe bold italic is really what I need here. Yes?
If you put them all in, because they're different fonts, they're all going to, like the dog, if you make it bigger, do you have to adjust everything else if you need to for the spacing between the lines? Or if you put dog in and it's in the ear, will everything else move functionally?
No, you're going to have to adjust it.
Okay.
It's kind of, it sounds like it may be tedious, but actually the little bits and pieces I was able to do since I saw you Monday, I found very therapeutic. Like, I love like process-oriented stuff. Now here is to address your question about type. In Illustrator and in design, you can create what's called like a pre-flight package of fonts. What we're going to do with Photoshop is have a folder full of the 15 to 20 fonts, and I would love that. If this is the approach you're going to do, I would love that by Monday. If you're like, this is not the approach I'm going to do one of the other similar type-related approaches, then you can, begin to have a version of that for Monday. In this case, you can install the fonts on this computer. Here is what you can do. You see how dogs, if you're sure that you've spelled dogs right, and you're probably not going to want to do too much to it. You can change it from an editable type layer or text layer. I'm going to copy it in this case. And I'm going to go to Layer, Rasterize Type. And notice it changes to a pixel-based layer. And with that pixel-based layer, I do not need to worry about the font anymore. One of the reasons it's nice to have that editability with font is that you may want to just make some subtle variations as you go along. But one of the problems is for issues like this where you don't have that font. We should be able to install them here. If it's like a Mac PC thing, you could always install them in the other room, right? Now, what's cool about once you make this layer, this type layer, a rasterized layer, you can do some editing and transforming to it. And one of the things I like to do is warp it. So if you go to Transform Warp, you can start to bring in a little bit of like three-dimensional space to it. You can use these little handles to do some fun stuff. And that might be like part of some of the other approaches. If we go back to these approaches, you'll see that some of the type is just very flat, which doing something like this, if you have a selection, it's going to be very easy to place this type with a big brush, and we're going to go over that next. And then just to go back in and select certain certain words and make them much larger. But some of these where the type is actually following along the body, you may need to take it and warp it or transform it, rotate it, and move it. And you can do a lot more of those if the layer is now a pixel-based layer, right? So let's make a brush. I'm going to go to File, New, and grab the text tool. And we've already got like 4 Walter brushes. So maybe we'll do Spalding, which is the other name for a dog that I would have had. Spalding. It's a great name. So if I want to make a brush that just says Spalding, I can grab a marquee, put a marquee around it, go to Edit, Define Brush Preset, and you'll see that that says Spalding now.
Spalding or Spalding?
Spalding. Like Spalding Gray. Oh wait, I spelled it wrong. It's a good thing we're recording this. For
and then you even went, yeah, Spalding.
Spalding, right?
All right.
You can see why I chose Walter for my dog's name, because it's easier to spell, and there are less D's in it. So let's try it again, because second verse, same as the first.
Oh, this is going to be a great video.
Oh, it's a good one. Define that. Spalding, or Spalling.
Spalding.
No, just call it Spalding.
It's a tough name. It's a silent D, very silent.
Oh, there it is. Volleyball?
Deselect.
It's like emergency ball.
Right, it is. It's like now, I am grabbing my brush tool. I'm grabbing my Spalling.
Please do not edit this video.
Oh, I'm not. Trust me, ain't nobody got time for that. And what's great about doing this is you don't ever need that font again because you've already done it. You are able to change the color. Okay? You are able to rotate, transform, however you choose. All right? It does, however, put them all on one layer. So if there is going to be part of it that you might want to make, you might want to transform later, maybe kind of, make that a separate layer. Okay, so that's how to make a brush. This is how to transform a type layer into a pixel-based layer. And this is how to use auto select. So your homework for Monday is to sketch out and bring in assets for one of the following types of portraits. There are types of portraits. Oh, brother. So if this is the way that you want to go, right, you're going to need Daft Punk lyrics, yeah?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was also going to say,
Oh my gosh, and jitter and all that? Holy cow. Let me sit back down. Sit back down. Watch this business, guys. This is the business. Let's make it US. There we go.
I feel like we should make this a comedy show now.
Oh, I don't think we've got much work to go to get there. So let's grab our spalling brush. Okay. Now that's not intensely fun. That's just normal.
What are you talking about? That's all kinds of fun.
It's kind of fun. You can go to shape dynamics in the same way that you can play with them for other brushes. You can play with them.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm really dizzy.
Okay. But what's really cool are the color dynamics. So you can change the hue, saturation, brightness, and purity. And I'm going to actually just take that off because that's kind of crazy.
Oh, Jesus, that's better.
Right? So a lot of these options, that is in the brush, right? So you made a brush preset, and then I went into the brush panel, and I played with the color dynamics. And I adjusted the hue jitter, the saturation jitter, brightness, and purity. All of the things that you did for your painting, all of those different shape dynamics, scattering, texture, wet edges, all of these things that you did, you can now continue to do in this project. And you can see that this is also going to help build up the shadows, highlights, and midtones portions. And the colors that you choose are going to tell a story. In the one that I was working on, I made a layer. Let's see. I made a layer of colors that I felt were inspirational. Those were my inspirational colors. I'm not much for, color, so this for me was a lot of color. So that I would have the palette there, and I could just sample these and make swatches. Remember, for colors, you can always go to Window, Extensions, Cooler, and you can go to Cooler and download swatch packets that you want, okay? You might be like, you know what, Appalachian Spring, I feel ya. I'm going to add you to my swatch panel, and now those last couple of swatches are in there. Or in my case, I knew I was making it about Walter and about kind of the feeling of owning a Dachshund, so I wanted to pick my own colors. Unfortunately, I picked some pretty depressing colors, so I might go back and pick some that are a little more...
I feel like you need a red.
Red is his color, so I think that I could definitely get a red, maybe this red from Appalachian Spring.
I think that third one is perfect. Rust color.
Where this color on my panel here?
No, on the swatch. Yeah, that one. The third one down, it's got a rust, grays, and then some.
Ooh, vintage Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
Consider it added.
Oh,
So I can get a brush that doesn't say Walter
what is that?
on it. I know. And then I could add that color.
What, except that Appalachian.
This is part of Appalachian Spring.
Okay, that's lame. Change color.
I could very easily undo that
Good.
and grab, well, I'm sorry, I really do like this color with these colors. This kind of blue teal. Yeah. It looks a little different on my screen. I also really just like grays. Who am I kidding? And now I have all the colors as a layer, very similar to how you set up your colors before. Okay? So I'm going to save this video. We're going to talk about what your expectations are for Monday, and then I'm going to assign you homework and sketches.
Oh, man.